Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you're at, ladies and gents. I am Kurojiri, your resident tinker and Medarot, and this is the Medarot News Network, bringing you all the latest developments and happenings with our favorite pet fighting robot series. Now, it looks like we're going to be sticking around with the theme of carrying over bots from MedarotSurvivor into Medarot S, which has kind of been a running theme for a while now since the game officially launched, and even well before then as a teaser with the release of Shadow Armor and Kogasenjo at the beginning. And while we were kind of expecting them to kind of stay on this same loop, I was not entirely expecting to see the rising popularity of a rather interesting pottery type, as you see here, officially finally make his grace and drop into the world of Medarot S. But given the creative mind of the author that was behind his design, it only goes to show that Imagineer is most certainly pulling all the stops out when it comes to reaching out to big artists and big creators to help create their own designs and weigh in to kind of help encapsulate the globe when it comes to our love for our favorite fighting robots. But with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into what was officially announced for this week and just what to expect with the coming week in particular. One thing I am going to mention ahead of time, though, because this was brought to my attention earlier this morning, is this week's update will actually be going live tonight. So starting Wednesday morning instead of Thursday morning for us Western folks here, the update will be going live a day early. So you guys are getting the news pretty much right on the very cusp of it, with no real cooldown or preparation time this time around. Especially given with the seasonal changes over the course of the next couple days. But with that being said, let's go ahead and officially jump right in, starting of course with the highlight model of the hour, the endearingly called Turbo Toilet, as you see here. The last time I have my community in my episode. I did it for fun and now I kind of regret it. I'm kidding. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. So, of course, the first model on the lineup is PTR-0 World Cup, designed by Sumito Uwara, who was the designer and author of the series Keep Your Hands Off Eizouken, another very popular manga series and that has definitely made its rounds in recent years. World Cup in particular is packing Mud Shot, Mega Gatling, Anti-C, Biped Legs, and Super Armor. So a very interesting kit in particular for what World Cup brings to the world of Medarot S, contrast to what he did as a suction type, vortex type as he plays in MedaSurvivor. Additionally, we also see a rerun of the popular RPT-0 Azu Ruler by Naohiro Washio, who was well known for Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphans, among a handful of other very popular mecha series, with Range Pile, Max Vulcan, Power Napalm, Flight Legs, and Detect. So just between these two models alone, there are a lot of very nice looking skills between these two. World Cup in particular is really nice though for synergy between Mudshot and Anti-C as a new way to kind of help put it back on the map, in contrast to a lot of anti-air and tornado type of spam that you see in current competitive meta. Now, much like it has been in previous weeks though, these two are also getting their own completely separate pickup banners and boosted rates as well. I don't really know if this is going to be a new change going forward, or if they're simply just doing this for the MedaSurvivor bots in particular, but all the same, there are still some very nice designs that are up for grabs in either respective banner. For World Cup's banner specifically, it's going to be boosted rates for SCM-0 Wanderer, also lovingly known as Producer-san himself, as one of his favorite avatars and XP that he uses when he goes live on the official channel, with Guard Provoke, Double Provoke, Tank Legs, and Super Armor. Wanderer also is capable of meta change into a proper Sea Cucumber Slug type form, with a changed kit of Counter Guard, Mirror Guard, First Aid, Tank Legs, and Trap Buster. So a very solid aggro shielder, aggro magnet in particular, the way he chooses to behave, and he does it remarkably well with his use of Super Armor and Trap Buster and being able to change accordingly. Additionally, we also have a rerun and boosted rate for AQR-0 Aquarius from Medarot Navi, with Charge Plant, Double Count Attack, Float Legs, and Whaley. So, honestly, between these two in World Cup, you have a lot of really solid skills on the table that you could make a pull for. And of course, Wanderer being the meta change type model here of the three, that does mean that he's going to be the hardest to collect, since you're either going to get all of his parts or none at all. And it is simply just good to keep in mind all the same. Now, for Azu Ruler's banner, though, it's going to be pretty much a rerun of what it was the first time he was released, and that is a rerun of two iconic Kabukua types that also reran that same week. Those in particular are KXK-01 Cross Messiah Z, with Full Charge Kai, Charge Sonic, Charge Spark, Biped Legs, and Anger, who can also meta change into a tank-based form with Overcharge, ACG, Shot, Force Control, Tank Legs, and G Control. So a very solid utility-type CG fighter, more than a power-type CG fighter that you'd expect from the Cross Messiah, Kreutz Bison, or even Black Cruz here, who does differently. And speaking of Black Cruz, at KXK03, she is packing Substitute, Revenge Sword, Back Shot, Biped Legs, and Contract. Now, in contrast to her brothers, which focus primarily on CG sustained in some form or capacity, Black Cruz, on the other hand, instead focuses on HP control, using Substitute and Contract to render Revenge Sword down to 1 HP with the use of a powered-up Max Shot, and basically being able to just go ham at will once that Revenge Sword is under half HP for even higher damage bonuses across the board. So either way, much like it was with World Cup's banner, Azurula's banner, of course, is just as powerful and just as versatile. So you really can't go wrong either way you choose to go after when it comes to the models that are brought to the table and just what the gacha banners bring instead. For the Fierce Battles this week, though, as we carry along, it's going to be a very heavy ailment or punish type week, as you see here, with a lot of very unique type of designs and skills geared toward trying to make the enemy's life as irritating or as punishing as possible. In particular, on this top row, we're starting off with MON02 Kiru Mashura with Heal Plant, Double Sword, Biped Legs, and Spearhead, and his twin MON03 Iru Mashura with Repair Plant, Double Free Shot, Biped Legs, and Gunman. And lastly, on this top row, we have PLC01 Speed Alert with Mobile Boost, Thunder, Gatling, Wheeled Legs, and Emergency. On the bottom row, we have CLA01 Kanahachi Mark II with Triple Hold, Multi-Legs, and Mariner. We have GBD01 Blast Beat with Guard Boost, Double Break Hammer, Tank Legs, and Barrier. And GBG01 Ferret Beat with Fight Boost, Beam Sword, Fire, Biped Legs, and Generator. So like I said, ultimately it's a lot of models that focus really heavily on ailments in some form or capacity. Kanahachi Mark II with Hold, Fret Beat in particular with Fire, Speed Alert with Thunder as necessary, Iru Mashura with Free Shot. Ultimately, though, aside from that, I do have to give the MVP of the week primarily to Iru Mashura this week, given the fact that Free Shot is just so incredibly versatile for any enemy teams that are using Super Armor or Stat Cleanse in particular, as being able to not only stall an enemy unit, but also guarantee hitting and critting that enemy unit as freezing them in place, really makes getting through a lot of harder content, especially for new players, a whole lot easier across the board, and you don't even have to raise it all that high either in order to do so. So it's a very solid part that you can use basically anywhere. All the others, Kiru Mashura with Double Sword, Speed Alert with a mixed utility kit, Kanahachi with Multi-Legs and Mariner and Hold, Blast Beat with Double Break Hammer for females, and Fret Beat, of course, for Beam Sword as well. Lots of very solid skills that you can make use of this week, and it never hurts to farm for all 6 of them, but ultimately, Iru Mashura is probably going to be the big MVP of the week, primarily for having Free Shot, not heavy at that, to be able to help serve you utility needs if you find things starting to turn sour. Now, as always, we also have a brand new Super Invasion going live for the new pickup model this week as well, this time featuring World Cup in particular. There's no real telling what in particular he's going to be bringing to the table, but I do highly suspect that Stat Cleanse probably will be banned in some form or capacity, given his ability to use Mud Shot and Anti-C at will, means that anyone with, say, Stat Cleanse or something similar is probably going to be barred from using it in order to guarantee that World Cup and whatever allies he brings with him are probably going to have the nastiest time yet when it comes to being able to cut their enemies down to size. Since, a friendly reminder, Mud Shot, or Mud Blow with the introduction of Vega K Bani Bani from the recently finished Grandizer collab, basically convert the enemy's leg type to C until attacked. Then, with that leg type change to C, that does mean ×7 weakness to any kind of anti-C attacks, which, you know it, has. So, fair warning, it is going to be I do suspect it is going to be a rather dicey Super Invasion when it does officially go live. As far as events are concerned, though, it is going to be a relatively light week in particular, with not really a lot of, super exciting or anything really big on the line as far as rewards are concerned. This time around, we have the opportunity to earn a brand new medal, the Cleaner medal, which has a mastery in shooting, support, and setup, and leg masteries of biped, multi, and flight. We also can earn FRN01 Steinberger with field repair, double thunder, biped legs, and shape memory, who is also a previous event reward from previous events long past. So if you ended up missing Steinberger the first time, this is going to be a really good opportunity to pick up on him a second time around to make sure that you have him in the library. And of course, we also have extra gacha tickets that can be earned as well through the latter half of March as we crest here on March 18th. So only a couple weeks remain before that does officially end. I do want to kind of go out on a limb here and suspect that they're probably going to be spending all of March to celebrate MedaSurvivor, which I have no issue with at all because there's lots of very unique designs that they're releasing for the game, and even some that we've only seen once or twice. So it is going to be very exciting all the same. Now, I'm actually going to step away here for just a little bit because the bonuses for this particular event are actually going to be pretty large. So step aside as we move forward. This event in particular will feature boss fight, which means it is primarily a score attack with some extra benefits. Essentially, every time you clear a basic round of the regular dungeon, you add 1 tick to the counter to spawn a boss encounter, which will feature a particular model with higher specs, but also a little more aggressive to earn an extra set of bonuses and extra rewards. As you see here for the regular dungeon bonuses, as you see here, there are a lot of models that are featuring a 9% up bonus per part equipped. Wanderer, Aquarius, Cross Z, and Black Cruise, Beastmaster and God Emperor, Archbeetle D and Tyrell Beetle, the regular models, Ares, Protomusha, and Tomoe. The Fierce Battles will give you a 6% each, and a handful of the Marauders at a 10% for SR or lower for the R or N rank, respectively. Featuring all 7 that you see here between Arase, Ibuki, Nozomi, Hisaki, as well as the Navi Marauders of Shiden, Kazumi, and Hiyori, which I simply did not put here due to lack of space. For the boss fight encounters, though, it is going to be just a little bit more demanding, though, featuring a lot of bonuses from MedaSurvivor-eccentric models. Of course, World Cup featuring a 15% bonus per part. The Beetle mascots, Alpha Soma and Bularis Mondi at a 9% bonus. And Koka Senjo, Shadow Armor, and Azu Ruler at a 7% bonus, and the event reward of Steinberger at a 6% bonus, respectively. And the Navi Marauders of Shiden, Kazumi, and Hiyori, the SR will give you a 15% bonus per 1 equipped. So ultimately, I really don't think this boss fight is going to be really all that hard. For folks that are just coming in and kind of realize that the Grandizer one was just inhumanly difficult, I'm going to be completely real with you and say that was most likely done with purpose and done on purpose and for. So that is most certainly not reflective of all boss fight type of events. This one in particular most likely will be a whole lot easier and lower key as well, given that most of the models here, Alpha Soma and Bularis Mondi in particular, actually all of them minus, of course, World Cup and Azu Ruler, are pretty much models that we've had access to over these last couple weeks. So plenty of time to pick up at least 1 or 2 parts of each, or the pure sets if you got lucky. And even the basic bonuses as well aren't necessarily as terrible either, given that out of all of them, only 4 of them are meta change type models respectively. Now, as I just kind of step back in here real quick and we forward, there really, as far as MedaSurvivor is concerned, though, there's really only one big thing that they mentioned, and is that the Cross Messiah Fancy Ale event will be carrying on into a second wave and second week, and the reward box will be reset back to ground zero. This last week, we had the opportunity to earn a UR rank Cross Messiah for 6,000 point redemption if you were able to get that far. This week, they're going to be resetting the box and adding a UR rank Fancy Ale instead. So plenty of opportunities to make use of that as well when that does carry over, which also will be going live tomorrow as well, in addition to everything else for Medarot S related. Moving away from game-related stuff, though, for community, we are always looking for translators to assist us with any current projects or endeavors. That includes any new translation projects, manga, or anything else of the like. If you are knowledgeable in coding, cleaning Japanese, or if you know somebody that might be and wants to lend a hand, feel free to join our Discord in the link provided below, and we are more than happy to get you in touch with the right people. Or if you perhaps don't know anybody, don't have any skills, but would love to donate to the cause anyway, there is a link to Variance Crowdfunding in the link below as well that you can donate to. we can commission some extra lines of text for Medarot 4 to be translated on our behalf. This will lighten the load tremendously for the very small team that goes toward putting that together. And the sooner that we can get Medarot 4 completed, the sooner that the Ikki Saga can finally be played in its entirety from Medarot 2 to Medarot 4 from start to finish. Now, I am going to make one final note of this as well, because it did officially end on Saturday, is the Project Rising Beetle Ori Meta competition that we've been holding for the last month and a half or so. That contest is officially closed as of March 15th in particular, so just this last weekend. I will be taking all of the entries that were submitted up to the very end and deliberating how many winners or runners-up or honorable mentions are worth looking at and highlighting based on the number of entries that are submitted. I will be taking this week to deliberate them, and next week's episode, March 25th, I will be officially announcing the winners. And then from there, I will coordinate art streams relatively, of course. Rain, work with me, please, so that people can watch me work on those specialized concept sheets for the winners and or runners-up. One final note before I do wrap us up, as a friendly reminder on the topic of art, is that I am always open for commissions, of course. So if you are looking for a live 2D model ready to rig, 3D model with the works, fully textured, modeled, optimized, and so on, standard art, or even emotes as well, I do basically just about anything, minus, of course, anything gory or NSFW. I am open to basically anything. My prices are rather reasonable, as you see here, and of course will scale up or down relative to the complexity of the design that we're looking at. So you can reach out to me on Twitter, Discord, or Blue Sky and ask about that, and we can most certainly try to make something happen. But with all that being said, that does basically cover everything for this week's episode. So, like I said, relatively light week as far as things are concerned, especially given that things are starting a day early because of the seasonal changes. But with that being said, if you'd like to know more, you can follow us below on Facebook at the Medarot News Network page, or the Metabots Forever community, which is soaring over 43,000 members and still growing by the day. You can also join us on Discord in the link provided and the comments below to keep an even closer ear to the ground on the action. This includes any new links to merchandise, fan art, contests, my weekly episodes, or anything else of the like. The Discord server is the first place you're going to hear the news before it goes anywhere else on the net. Additionally, like I said, you can reach out to me on Twitter, Discord, or Blue Sky at Isagamikura. So if you have any questions, feedback, comments, suggestions, or if you'd like to commission me or even collaborate with me if you're a content creator, there's always a space here at the desk, at the news desk for you, or that I'm more than happy to stop in on your channel for a friendly chat or a friendly game. I would love to try to make something happen, so feel free to reach out to me on those regards. Lastly, do feel free to follow my friend Protodude as well if you are a Rockman, Mega Man fan of any kind of capacity. Much like I do with the Western Medarot news, Protodude is the one place, the it place for any Rockman related news as far as the franchise is concerned. Model kits, art, games, fan games, or anything else the like, Protodude is the guy that you want to follow. In particular, I do also want to highlight a project he mentioned to me that he's been working on, or as part of a development team, is the Berserk Bits idle RPG that will be going, that has a demo and wishlist on Steam right now at Berserk Boy Game. Essentially, like I said, as an idle RPG, it does basically play on your desktop, so it's something you don't really have to pay attention to all that much aside from every now and then. And essentially, the longer you leave it alone, it's just something to kind of touch base and follow up on every now and then. But if you are looking for a love letter to the Mega Man Battle Network series, along with elements of Star Force and even some Digimon thrown in, this is definitely something that you don't want to miss out on all the same. But with all that being said, as always, I do appreciate you all for stopping in, just as you always do. And until next time, this is your host, Kura Isagami of the Medarot News Network, signing out.